Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag-grown technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fareway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fareway. It's more than just a name.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? It is the 26th of October, 2025. My name is Chris Williams. I'm joined as always by Brent Blum. And unfortunately, the football program up at the Iowa State University, the varsity boys are in a tough stretch right now. One of the wildest, disappointing games I've maybe ever covered in my 21 years of doing this. We'll talk about it all today. We are presented, as always, by Mechdyne and the Mechdyne Corporation, where they are enabling discovery each and every day. I love walking around the Iowa State football facility and looking at all that beautiful AV technology that is courtesy of Mechdyne. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios. Shout out to all of our friends at Northwest Bank all over the state of Iowa. I know many of you are ditching your longtime banks because you're a fanatic and you like to support what we do at Cyclone Fanatic, and you're going up and opening a checking account at Northwest Bank. We appreciate that.
Do you know why it's called Northwest Bank?
I don't.
Based in Spencer, which is, in
go.
fact, in Northwest Iowa.
Giddy up.
Yep.
He is Brent Blum.
I'm here for all the geography today.
We are, of course, going to talk about the BYU game. We are also going to spend some time on basketball today. I watched today's game.
Yeah.
So I have some insight. Jake Bryn shot some highlights that we'll have on in the background from today's game. So that'll all be coming up later on. We do want to lead with football. And really, Brent, I think I was just walking my dog before we recorded because I needed to clear my mind before we went on the air. And I thought to myself, this is the most frustrating Iowa State team I've been around since 2005. And ironically, that was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Because I just felt like at the end of the year, that team was so much better than what its record and like what its, stature would indicate. And I think we're going to look back on this team like that as well, because let's talk specifically about the offense and we can get into the defense too. But what's so frustrating about this offense to me is they continue to put up yards. They continue. What did they average? Almost 8 yards per play in that game yesterday.
It ended up being 7-1, but
okay.
Rocco took, you have to take it out, but he took 40 yards in sacks. So it would have been over 8. Okay,
so the point being, they're moving the ball consistently. The run game is maybe as good as it's been since Breece Hall.
Breece, for sure, yeah.
Was here. I think they have good players. Like, this isn't a deal like, and we'll get to the defense because I'm a little unsure on like the dudes on defense right now. We'll get to all that.
Yeah.
Offensively, like, they have good players. There's not really a position group in the entire offense where I'm like, oh man, that group's really struggling right now. It's just when it comes down to, as Matt Campbell likes to talk about details, and you can remove 5 or 6 plays from any of the 3 losses, and you feel completely different about the situation. Just a really, really maddening thing when you put it all together.
Yeah, I like the 05 comp. But
for the younger kids too, who didn't watch that team, like that team probably should have been to like a Holiday Bowl or like back when the bowls were really a big deal. And they just constantly would like fumble inside the 5-yard line, or they would just constantly find a way to screw it up at the end. And I just kind of feel like that's where we're at here.
It's just we're getting close to Halloween, but it feels this team's kind of cursed. That's the most frustrating thing. Like, C-Dub, in a lot of ways, I grew up an Iowa State fan, and it was almost easier to swallow when you were losing by 40 points to Nebraska because you knew it was going to happen. But like yesterday's the perfect example of a game that, and it's weird to say that, and I don't think it's a coping mechanism. I think Iowa State played okay for literally 90% of that game, and it's not a talent thing. And I think that's the most frustrating part is, you can get into all the details of, why is this happening? I don't think it's talent. It's just dumb mistakes at terrible times and just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, literally yesterday. Literally.
Well,
Benny Nagoye thing was like literally, that is as silly of mistake that anybody could ever make in the game of football.
That's just terrible football.
That's just terrible football. I mean, that is just it. That is just a bonehead play. And Matt said in the postgame that Aiden Flora was yelling and Benny just didn't hear him. But that was emblematic a little bit of this 3-game stretch of you did a lot of good things, you get to stop, and it still unravels on you. And that if you feel extra terrible as an Iowa State fan, well, I'll tell you why. This is only the 3rd 3-game losing streak in the Matt Campbell era right now, which is crazy. I mean, that is indicative of how far the program has come, but it also why it's so frustrating here. The previous 3-game losing streaks, 2022, and Iowa State couldn't do anything on offense, and that was its own level of frustration. But this team has, like, the offense is I agree, C-Dub. They've got the pieces. And then his first year in 2016, they lost 5 in a row that year. It's just, you thought this team was old enough and could get out of it. And I thought that first literally quarter and a half, obviously played great football. Like, that was high level football on both ends. Will McLaughlin got a couple sacks. And then you score with 150 left in the half. And I think that drive, for BYU was,
I think Iowa State's going to score.
Good point. That first pick.
That, to me, is what changed the game. It just... And then let's hear from Rocco Beck. Jake Bryn caught up with him after the game, and we'll hear from Matt Campbell as well.
It's frustrating because I think some of those are coming from, a lack of poise right now. And I think you see that with our football team. And again, that's on me as the head football coach. And I also think that's on a young football team trying to grind through, a challenge right now. And so I don't see it as a lack of effort. I certainly don't see it as a lack of fight. But our detail and precision, we just got to be better in the moment. And those are things that we got to keep pounding away at. It starts with the head football coach, and we'll continue to do a great job of working on those things.
It's frustrating because I don't know. You try to see, like, find areas where you can get that answer, but I just don't know right now. And I think, we're doing everything during the week. We're going out to practice, practicing hard. Everybody's in the film room getting taught up, watching the extra film. I mean, we're doing all the, just the little things during the week. It's just it's not translating onto the field like we would want it. And also, we had those games last year as well, and we were able to just help ourselves and finish the game. It's just this year we're not getting that, luck at the end of the game and finishing those close games. So we just got to be better.
Clearly a frustrated quarterback right there.
Yeah, honest though. I mean, you appreciate that.
I appreciated that. Yeah. Like, I don't know what's wrong. I had just notes. So the kickoff team was horrific. yesterday in every like tackling, actually kicking the ball. Just everything about it was horrific.
That changed, and again, obviously the Rocco pick, and then honestly I don't blame individuals here because obviously Iowa State is down its 2 kickoff guys, and Kyle, as we talked about on Wednesday, thank goodness he was there because he was great yesterday, but he doesn't have the leg strength to do kickoffs, and when you kick the ball off and BYU starts a return at the 15-yard line, that's just you're basically giving them 2 first downs. That's what you did. And that last drive before half, I think, sucked a lot of the energy out of that place, and BYU compounded it by scoring the first time out of the third quarter. Now you have a tie ball game.
See, these are all notes of screw-ups, and I'm sure there were more.
Yes.
The miss to Flora in the second possession of the game, Rocco just threw it over his head. He was wide open, would have gone in for a touchdown. Would have been an easy red zone touchdown. Iowa State has to settle for 3. So there's 4 points. Obviously the interception in the second quarter with I'm 99% sure for people who have asked that was probably on the quarterback. I even did a little bit of asking, and I am almost positive that was a fly route. He was not supposed to come back. So that was I don't know what Rocco was doing
and
there.
He was under pressure, so the line didn't hold up there. But
saying, when you look at that play, you think something had to have gone wrong.
Yes.
Because it was such an egregious
outlier. It was just a complete whiff.
From what I can see, and I've watched it a million times now, that I'm pretty sure that was just a bad interception. So then the interceptions, the Flora drop.
Yep.
In the fourth quarter. Ngoyi stepping on the football on the punt. And that's just a handful.
Well, and then the one, another one, the chase so well back of the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, he was wide open.
He was open. And it was a tough throw. I mean, there was room there. That changes the game. If he makes that catch. The couple penalty, again, C-Dub, first and goal at the 10, and Conradi ends up having to kick a 44-yard field goal. What? I mean, it was just some stuff where you do so many great things, and then you just literally chop your foot off.
This is how poorly I feel right now. I think this is just indicative of what many fans are probably gonna. I think a lot of fans are gonna understand this. But when Carson Hansen had the 65-yard run in the third quarter, and you're thinking you know what I was thinking? Well, shit, he didn't get in the end zone.
Well, yeah.
Right? But that just tells you where I think the confidence level is of this red zone offense. They're just not able to execute really at any level right now. And I would also make a point that I think I said this after the Colorado game to you. Carson Hansen's a really good running back. Really glad he's a Cyclone. But they don't have the guys like a Brees that are just going to house that right now. Maybe Abu does, but Abu doesn't get in that situation that often. I guess my whole point is that is the one thing I think this offense, while I think they have good players, is lacking is guys that will just erase situations.
Yeah, and that's why it was great to see that first play of the game, because that was obviously a monster 75-yard touchdown. But that great play, you run for. I mean, kudos to the offensive line on the run block.
Really good running game. I mean, all day long. Both running backs were good.
It's a top 15 run defense, and you gashed them for 230 yards. This is what C-Dub. If you would have told me Iowa State's going to run for 230, and again, 50 of those yards were Nick. You got to take them out, so it's actually ended up being 180 on the stat sheet because of Rocco sacks. Unlike the NFL, sacks count against your rushing yards in college football. Anywho,
that's
but Iowa State, it is. If you run for 230. I was like, oh my gosh, Iowa State's winning this by double figures. And then you stopped BYU's run game. You made L.J. Martin, who may be the best back in the Big 12, completely useless. You did the things that you wanted to do.
Well, he got hurt, too.
He did. Yeah. But they still were under 4 yards of carry. I mean,
they were holding him under,
You did the things you needed to do. You stopped the run and you ran the ball. If you would have told me that, when we had that podcast on Wednesday, what those numbers would be, I was like, oh my gosh, Iowa State's winning this by 2 touchdowns. But that's this football team right now. It's just you can't finish the thing in multiple ways. And in the second half, when Bachmeier got some confidence, That was really hard to watch because it just felt, even on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, it felt very helpless.
Speaking of Bachmeier, I think it's a good, and I think everybody watching and listening know how highly we think of Rocco Becht, and I'm not giving up on him. I think he's going to turn around. He looked great early on yesterday, and I'm like, oh, he's back. I guess my question, though, would be, there was a point this year where we thought he was the best quarterback in the league. And, I mean, right now, it would be hard to make an argument that he's in the top 12.
Yeah,
with the way that he's played the last 2 games, right? Like, so good and bad, okay? Bad because that's your guy, right? And Iowa State can't win right now with the state of the defense and all that stuff with him playing this way. I guess the good thing, I think, is, man, a lot of plays are there. They're moving the football, right? It's not like this isn't the 22 team that,
for sure, that couldn't get to 300 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's like, if I got to count on anybody to like figure it the hell out, like I'm glad it's Rocco. So there you go. There's my silver lining in all of this. If any of you want one.
And you heard him just there. He's pissed. I mean, that's the thing that this team is finding out, a lot like that 2021 team did. When the expectations get elevated, the pressure ramps up too. And it just looks to me, C-Dub, and again, I think body language is kind of silly in a lot of ways, but it looks like this team is just, they're grinding, but they're just not having a lot of fun. You know, there's one thing when you're an up-and-comer like Iowa State was last year a little bit, and especially in 23, when, oh, this is fun, you know, kind of playing with your hair on fire, where it just feels like this team has the weight on its shoulders right now, a lot like that 21 team did. And I think that's what's causing some of these mistakes, because you're almost trying too hard, that you end to overcompensate and make mistakes that way. So, you know, not to play amateur psychologist, but I think there is a feeling, even at times, C-Dub, like the basketball team, when it struggled at times in the conference play last year, when you try, you strain so hard that you end up not having fun, not playing free, and you end up getting tight, and that's when mistakes happen. And I think we're seeing a lot of that in those critical moments. I want to have a nuanced conversation about Iowa State's defense coming up after we thank some of our great sponsors. One of our main guys, Andrew Chaplin over at Hunziker. Buy and sell your home through Chappie. He stopped by the tailgate last night. It was great to see Chappie. Great guy, yeah. Great real estate agent, and we highly recommend him for anyone in need of that. He can serve the entire state of Iowa. Also want to thank our friends over at the Ivy College of Business, longtime sponsor of the show. The graduate program is one of the best in the entire country. What a growing university. Well, not a growing college, but then the university is the Ivy College of Business, and we really appreciate them supporting Williams and Blum. So he's a Wednesday sponsor, but saw Jeff Wood yesterday, obviously of Gravitate Co-working, and of course HopeWood.com. There you go. Hopefully all of us have our wills done over the last 3 games, by the way. However, their son did a campus visit and toured the Ivy College of Business this week. And so it was a wonderful experience. Yeah. So we've got cross-sponsor activation right now. Synergy. We have synergy here. Did Colin Newell go to the Ivy College of Business? He is. He's a finance major. Absolutely. I figured he was. It's all connected. I don't know if Kelderman was, though. Was Kelderman? Kelderman likely. Actually, Kelderman was a marketing guy. Was he? He was a marketing major. There you go. I don't know what it was called back then, but... Not to date you or anything, Keldy. Right. Kelderman Manufacturing, sponsor of the show as well. I want to have a nuanced conversation about the defense now that we're 24 hours away from this game and you guys are no longer cussing at me about the dime stack. So I have a lot of thoughts. Can I just kind of do a little monologue here and then you jump in? Yeah, you're on it today. This walk was good for you. This walk with I thought was good for you. So I think realistically, this is how. I've been very. There's nothing that makes me more annoyed than the whole next man in mentality in certain situations because it's just not possible. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't replicate what Williams and Cooper meant to the defense. You just can't. Now you can make adjustments and you're not going to give up. I'm not saying to give up,
But it drastically changed this defense when those guys went out. On top of that, I do think that if we're having a very honest assessment of this entire group, the defensive line, to me, although I thought they played a lot better yesterday.
Agreed.
Like I thought we saw a nice improvement, and it gave me some optimism for the rest of the year. I think up until now, they've been an underachieving group, in my opinion. Didn't expect a ton. It's just Dom's been in and out, and the other guys, I think they're not bad players. I just don't think that any of them have elevated to the point that we thought they needed to in the preseason. And they're very serviceable, like Ezeagu and like McDonough, and they're all serviceable guys. I don't think that they suck. It's just
Amir Hawk's been solid. I mean, again, you would be happy with this group, as in years past for Iowa State. However, this group really needs an eraser on the defensive line it doesn't have.
And then the safeties, I'm just really struggling here because I don't necessarily think that they all suck. I think the corners really mess with them, and I think their jobs are different. And I do think that the linebackers as a whole have underachieved. I think there's really nice players there, right? I do. I think Ebel's a stud. It was awesome to see McLaughlin go out there yesterday and play that well.
Yes, that made me happy.
It feels like Brazina's hurt every other game. Bacon's a really good player.
Kale didn't play yesterday, did he?
Kale was out there. I saw him at one point.
Okay, well, he didn't make a tackle. He didn't make a tackle.
I know he was on the field at one point. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that group took the step forward that we all thought it might. Whatever. They haven't been bad.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just my whole it blows me away how much of the 3-3-5 hate that is out there. And yesterday's game, I truly don't know how you watch that game and just being like, oh man, it's all on the defense. Guys, this is the complimentary football thing. You put them on a short field when Nagoya doesn't get out of the way. Mm-hmm. You have 4 turnovers on top of it. Okay, you've got a kickoff team that cannot put it in the end zone right now. I truly think if Iowa State goes in and scores to go up 17 in the second quarter when Rocco throws that first pick, I think Iowa State would have won the game by 30. It changed the way Iowa State had to play defense. Then they started getting more into that backpedaling as opposed they were attacking early on.
Yeah.
Haycock was super aggressive. So my problem with the 3-3-5 hate is that I don't think a lot of you truly understand the scheme. If you watch the first quarter, technically, there's 3 defensive linemen, but there were oftentimes 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. Right? And so I think that that's just this easy thing to be like, well, we can't get any pressure because we only have 3 down linemen. Well, you do when you get to the point where BYU was just throwing, right? So it's maddening. The dropping 8 thing can be a maddening thing for a fan. I understand it, but if you don't keep putting them in this position time after time after time again, I think yesterday would have turned out differently. So do I blame the offense? Yeah. Do I blame the defense? Yeah. Do I blame the kickoff team? Yeah. It was poor complimentary football, but I'm not just going to rake the defense over the coals because you put them in a bad spot time and time again. You can't expect this group, minus 2 of the best corners in college football, to keep climbing out of it. At least I don't think you realistically can ask them to do that. The offense is good enough. They need to go out and win a damn game. Sorry. There you go.
No, I well said. I mean, that's where I keep coming back to. The plan was, what you had to do in that game was stop the run. And by and large, outside of last year when you were down to your 8th and 9th linebacker and a half against Cincinnati, Iowa State's been really, really good in the Haycock era since the change against the run. That is job number 1 on defense. You got to do that. And BYU comes in, again, top 15 in rushing with a freshman quarterback, and Iowa State would have loved if you told them before the game that Bachmeier was going to throw 36 times. They would have loved that.
Yes.
They would have absolutely loved it.
Absolutely.
So, the plan was going great. It really was. But you're right. It felt like that couple backbreakers at the end of the first half and that first drive in the second half, and then some of those young guys in the secondary and the linebackers lost some juice. They lost some confidence. I think, and then Bachmeier made a couple great throws. At some point, the other guy makes a play too.
Absolutely.
And I thought I was stunned.
I thought Bell had his worst game.
Yeah, I mean there was
James struggled at times in coverage
for sure. They all those guys did.
Yeah.
There was. Go look at those third
Taylor
down
wasn't
plays.
great at times.
It was a group effort. I mean, that's where you can't just say, "Hey, it's just on the corners or it's just on the safeties."
It's not. But again, and we've seen this, and when the Campbell era is not going well, like last year during the losing 2 games, you can't be the defense that lets Kansas score in 4 plays every time and expect the offense. It has to be working together.
Yeah.
And this team, while I think it's a really talented football team still, it ain't good enough to beat anyone in the Big 12, not named Oklahoma State, and probably not even them, and turn it over 4 times. Lose the turnover battle. You can't. It's impossible.
And that's where this group, and what is the biggest difference of this defense, C-Dub, as compared to even the one 2 years ago or beyond, is they're not getting turnovers. Iowa State's forced 1 turnover in the last 3 games.
You're gonna cut it.
When you're this defense that is trying to lull the other team into mistakes against that 3-3-5, and I give credit to Bachmeier, he didn't make one.
Nope.
He was nails. That guy was great, and those receivers did an awesome job of finding the weaknesses in that.
Tiger.
Tiger and Roberts, and I thought Kingston was great. Those guys are players.
Do you think the Bachmeier parents are friends with the Jantzes, Steele and Truck Jantz, Tiger and Bear Bachmeier?
I mean, I might rename my 5-year-old Bear at this point if he's going to play like that. That was impressive. That's
really impressive team. He was really gritty team, and you got to give it to Satake for. That team just figures it out week in and week out. This is 2nd year in a row that they're unassuming, and then they end up winning at the end of the day.
You got it. I mean, that was a good takeaway for me. Is when it's going the wrong way in that first half, lesser teams would have folded up and said, "Okay, not our day." But they kept going, and I'm saying Bachmeier was great. I thought he was great. Yeah, but you cannot ignore having Cooper and Williams out there yesterday changes that game defensively. It just does. And, but that's part of football.
Yeah, again, guys, and I can just see you tweeting at me right now. Excuses and reasons and whatever, it's all semantics. Mm-hmm. You don't quit. You keep trying to do things. What I'm saying is that my greater point is not that I think this defense is great. I don't. I said all last week I was way more worried about the defense the rest of the season, and I am still
am
more
still
than
am.
the offense.
Yeah,
okay,
I agree.
I don't think this is a great defense. I think it's very average. All right, but what I'm saying is that knowing that if you've got to be led by your offense,
you got to do it.
Can't keep putting this defense in bad positions.
Correct.
So you can bitch about the scheme, you can bitch about whatever you want, and maybe you guys are right. I don't know, but what I'm saying is the scheme doesn't matter right now if you keep putting it in bad spots. The offense has to be better. Go out and win games. The other thing that sucked about the end of that first half, Brent, is that BYU got the ball to start the second half.
Yes.
Iowa State was running the ball at will. If Iowa State goes into the second half with a 17-point lead, you can kill the clock.
Just Carson Hansen all day. Habu Sama all day. Yep. I know. That's what... Because if you take a double-digit lead in a halftime, C-Dub, you just churn out 8-minute drives.
Yep.
And when they scored to tie it up, then it's like, uh-oh, here we go again. And then your whole philosophy had to change.
Yeah, and then they were in this gunslinging mode because they didn't have their running back, and then Iowa State's defense was backpedaling. It was just a terrible, terrible result.
And it was, there's times that third quarter where it felt like, an homage to a game I remember there in 2006 with Mike Leach and the Texas Tech quarterbacks. Just guys were running seemingly wide open. And you're looking at it now, it's like, man, it felt like BYU converted every third down. In fact, they were only 6 of 15, which is average. But it just, those 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10 were just backbreakers when you hit a guy for
forever.
40.
I'd rather Haycock's defense be in a 3rd and 4 than a 3rd and 12 every day.
Yeah, and
I don't know how, and I don't know why, but it just feels like that.
And again, these guys are smart. They wouldn't do this if there was a better option. And they, Chris, the Cincinnati first half, obviously played a lot of 4-down linemen, got absolutely crushed with the run game. So there's a reason why they do this.
Yeah, and like you guys, you just have to you have to understand that it's not always about how many defensive linemen.
No.
It's they're usually bringing 4 and 5. It's just the whole point of it is you don't know where it's coming from, and it was very effective early in that game yesterday. And then the whole thing turned, and again you just can't. And I put it as much on that damn kickoff team as I do the offense. Like you can't keep letting these teams have the ball at the 40. You're killing yourself. And I don't know what the answer is. They clearly don't have a kicker who can kick it into the end zone. Yep. That's the issue. Well, yeah, I don't know what the fix is there.
One other thing I'd mention, for those who, and I like the conversation. I think it's healthy because it's like, what, have teams figured this out? And in some ways, the more this is played, I think teams are getting better at finding those soft spots within that 3-3-5.
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely true. However, you got a lot of youth back there anyway. You try and throw in a whole different system on the fly in the middle of the season, like that won't work either, I don't think.
My point too, it's like, I mean, do you really want to put more defensive linemen on the field?
That's the other thing, is you have another D lineman.
Who else are you going to put in there, I guess? Like, who do you think that, like, on Iowa State's roster that you're going to put in there on the D line right now that's going to add pressure? Because I don't think that it would happen. I really don't. I would rather keep athleticism on the field. And
yeah, I just think another one like Colorado, which
they suck.
They're horrible, and that's
the worst loss of the year.
Iowa State played awful football in Boulder. I thought Iowa State played okay, again, for 70% of the game. But you can't do that against a really good team. No. You just can't. You cannot have those 7 or 8 meltdowns that Iowa State had. It's a 160 play game, but 7 plays can turn it, and it did.
Colorado seriously sucks.
Oh
dude.
my gosh.
That's one of the worst teams that Iowa State's lost to in the Big 12 in the Campbell era.
Yeah, and it's like Cincinnati's good. I think we can all come to that conclusion now. So I'm like, I'm not.
The fact that Iowa State almost won that game is kind of impressive.
Yeah, but these last two, man, I can't think of two different ways in the Campbell era where you just feel like, gosh, we just left. We left a couple out there.
Even last year, Kansas was like rolling at that point. They kind of have their number.
Yeah, and Iowa State had nothing.
Yeah, and Iowa State was out of gas. And then Tech was, surging. Like, they're becoming what they are now. I know they have a lot of new guys, but, it was a really talented football team that beat Iowa State. So
I think you're dead on. We're going to look back on this season. Again, there's still time. And another interesting one Saturday against Arizona State, which we'll get there. But, man, this is shaping up to be a season where like a what if type, and that's two-pronged. One, in order to make it a what if, you had to have the bodies and the talent to get to make that a question, but it makes it even more painful, honestly, than some of those years when Iowa State was going 3-9.
Let's thank our buddies Dr. Greenwald and Dr. Warmy at the McFarland Clinic. They are the orthopedic surgeons who work on the Cyclones. You see them on the sidelines. They've been too busy the last few years. Come on, give those guys a break, guys. But we appreciate them for sponsoring the show. They're worked on my shoulder. Great guys, awesome people. They've worked on family members of mine. All have had amazing experiences.
By the way, that building in Sidetown is getting erected very quickly.
Absolutely. So thank you to those guys for sponsoring the show. All right, let's do some hits on the basketball. Play the entire highlights on the screen like that. Give me a second because I got to figure out how the heck to do that. That's why we generally have the fellas in here. But Iowa State, Brent, bounced back and I don't know, thought they played a really nice basketball game, I would say, against Northwestern, given the circumstances and what you were looking for to see from game one until now. I think that it was a deal where it's still not pretty, but you don't expect that on October 26th. What I see is a very young guards who got a lot better from week 1 to week 2. And I real glass half full, I think Iowa State will be better for this in February, that Torrey's going out and playing 30 minutes against high major competition when normally it'd be Lipsy out there. And then let's hear real quick from this Dominic Nelson, who was Iowa State's leading scorer today.
We all just mesh as a team. I mean, we all complement each other, so it's pretty easy for us to get in the flow. I feel like, we have the shooters, we have the people that could drive and put pressure on the rim, so it just makes it easy for everybody.
He's quickly becoming a favorite. 17 points today, and I think you called him what'd you call him in transition? A madman,
a
menace in transition. But yeah, what did you think of today's game?
Yeah, I thought I was so happy for that kid, Dom Nelson. It's a great story, and I hope he has more nights like this, because the more you hear from him, he's a wonderful young guy. And he got here, C-Dub, in June. And keep in mind, this is, just a little insight. There were teams that completely backed off of him, like legit teams, because of his free throw percentage and his three-point percentage last year at Utah Valley. He was still the WAC player of the year, by the way. So this guy always had game, but he's not a metrics marvel because he didn't shoot the three well, and he knew that. And so he gets to town in June, C-Dub, and he goes to work with Crawford and Deontay Garrett and completely reworks his jump shot, like from the ground up. And it's a work in progress still. It's not perfect. He's not gonna have a lot of nights like this where it's going in as much as it did. However, he's a grinder. He is in the gym all the time, and he's just a neat young guy that got undervalued because he didn't shoot the three well last year. Yet he was still the WAC player of the year, and this is what he does. When he's on, he can get to the rim. He's a really good finisher, as we've seen, and then defensively, he's been great. And there's times where he takes some plays off defensively, and they're working on that. But just so happy for him. Then also, C-Dub, super happy for Nate Heisey. Because there were times last year, I was at an event with Nate this summer, and he said last year that 4-week stretch where he had his struggles was the hardest 4-week stretch of his career. Because he's like, I've never had confidence issues. I did not have any confidence there for a while.
Yeah.
And so to see that guy,
he was afraid of his own shadow on the floor. We could all see it.
Yeah, he freely admitted that, and it shows a lot of growth by the way, to admit that in that setting. But he instead of pouting and saying, "No, it's not," he went to work and got better, and he earned a captain spot on this team. Everybody loves Nate, and so to see those two in particular, who you guys, I've read the message boards. A lot of fans had major doubts about both of them. I could send you some of the texts I got when Iowa State signed Dom Nelson. I'm like, why? What are we doing with this guy? What are you doing? And I'm just happy for those guys because it proves to them this isn't against
That's
some slappy. This is a Big Ten team that they did this against. That was I thought Northwestern. They had some guys too. I thought they were well coached and they came with a fight early in that game. So obviously a lot of stuff for Iowa State to clean up on defensively. Long way to go with this group. And then we got a lot of the Doug Sermon show today from a foul perspective. But by and large, I think you came away with some really good takeaways. And, generally the guys that I'm not worried about didn't play great. Milan struggled at times to put the ball in the basket. He'll get there, guys, trust me. And then Buchanan's better than he was today. He did not have a good day today, Buchanan. But, he's pretty consistent in practice, and I think he'll be okay. I just like this group's upside. And they do get along really well. And so I was just, again, more than anything, happy for Nelson, happy for Nate, and then obviously Killian Torrey. You don't have to have a huge set of NBA GM goggles to understand that guy can play. He can play.
Well, and then I just keep going back to that. It's kind of a blessing that Taman's not out there. And,
no doubt.
One, Taman doesn't need any more tread off of those tires. Two, that you're just getting so much more run out of Torrey right now and Nelson specifically. And then, Bateman, I still feel like Bateman's going to be this, like, you guys are gonna love him. It's
taking a little bit.
Yeah, but you made the best point is that you're doing this against Creighton and Northwestern.
Yes.
I'm gonna take so much more from today than I will next Monday,
November 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like this is huge. I'm really glad for a little insight too. So they play Creighton obviously with the McDermott thing. Mm-hmm. But the way TJ picks these things out, he's told me this before, is like you play Creighton because I think you compared them to BYU, spread it out.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. Jake that did that. They're the BYU.
Oh, Jake did that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
It was really good.
Creighton is a great offense. Like they really are.
And then he likes playing Northwestern because Collins and him have the same philosophy. Like he wants the guys to get punched in the face.
Yep.
In one of these things. So that they've played Northwestern, I want to say 2 or 3 times in these secret scrimmages. Because Collins and Otts have such a similar philosophy, and it's a good scrimmage for those two programs. So that's what you're doing here. Torre's shot looks really rough right now.
It's rough.
What I would say to that is we knew that.
Yeah.
2, when Taman comes back, like Torre's role is not going to be what you've seen. And that's why like I'm a little bit like I'm kind of excited because I got to see I tell people all the time, like these games are fun because you're watching them coach, like you're watching them practice. Basically, you're getting an inside look, and whatever the guard rotation is going to be, I don't know what it is, but like Torre's job isn't going to be. He's not going to when he comes in. It's going to be hey, play really good defense, distribute the basketball, and be smart. Just don't turn it over. He's not going to be asked to do a lot of the stuff that you saw him do today.
What I'm really excited about, when Taman gets healthy, is the length of Nelson and Torre at that guard spot is phenomenal. Like those guys, there's height and there's length, yada yada, but their wingspan is huge. They're going to get so many steals and deflections. I feel bad for whoever that first opponent's going to be. I mean, there's going to be games I would say that's 10 plus steals, maybe 15 steals, because that's what these guys do. And by the way, Taman's moving along very nicely. I was in there last week, right on track. I think he will probably give it a go in that first game. Obviously, a little bit more of a minute restriction, and then hopefully have him really ready to go for Mississippi State, who's a pretty good program. So, but yeah, it's this team. TJ got after him a little bit earlier this week, saying you guys got to be tougher, essentially. And I think this was a great game, great time to play Northwestern because Northwestern was physical. And Iowa State stood up to it. And
they were down a couple of guards, too.
Yeah, they were, too. Yeah.
It's worth putting that out there.
It's not like Iowa State was playing Houston here. Like, don't get me wrong. But that was a nice progression for some of those guys to understand, you can get better game to game. And just really pumped up for this group. And they're going to be fun to watch because I believe they are going to get better as the year goes on. I think last year's team was kind of capped, and that's why it played great early. But you didn't have quite the upside that this group does with the young players.
Yeah, I thought all in all it was very positive.
And by the way, and Joshua Jefferson he's a problem in a good way. I mean, that guy. There's gonna be games where people don't know what to do with him. He's so handling it better. He's
it just
a great
looks like
passer.
He's not even trying, and he's
When you put Lipsy in that group the way it passed today, man, and obviously it's got length at those guard spots now that it maybe didn't at times in the last couple of years. It's going to be this team's going to be hard to defend, and as long as it takes care of the ball. And that's where Torre's been really good so far.
All right, there you have it. Let's move on. Go back to football with our Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment.
When you plant Wiffles Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wiffles.
All right. Hopefully you guys are out of the fields by now.
I got my Wiffles hat on. It's kind of camo there, but it's on there.
Oh, yeah. I'll get that. Mm-hmm. I thought you were just wearing the stylish black hat, but I can see the Wiffles Hybrids in there.
It's not a funeral. I mean, not really, at least.
I was all black last night in my pirate outfit for the Halloween.
There we go. There you go.
Fareway Festival of Meats coming up on Saturday, by the way.
So, got this nugget. You're not going to like this, C-Dub, but I'm going to tell you it's a fact. It's the first noon start time for Iowa State since, you're not going to get this, but I'm going to tell you, 2004 against Missouri.
Oh, no.
When the Big 12 North was on the line.
Yeah, that was Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes. First noon game.
That was the Brad Smith game. Chase Daniel came in?
Nope. That was the next year. The next year. This was the missed field goal for our guy Colby. Brett. Oh. Was right there. Yeah. But so, hey, we got that going for us.
Well, props to TNT.
Yeah.
It's good to have these random networks that will put games on at different times and stagger these things a little bit. I like that.
So somebody asked me, and I might as well address it. This is not additional dollars for the Big 12 necessarily with TNT. It's a sub-license deal.
Sub-license deal.
Which means that Fox and ESPN just give them inventory, but it doesn't increase the dollar value. But what I will say is TNT's been a huge upgrade in promotion and quality of coverage and everything like that. I will obviously put it on the old DVR machine, but they do a great job in game presentation as well. So excited to be on TNT.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this game looks completely different than what we thought because, well, we'll get into what happened this week in the Big 12. We'll start with Arizona State. Leavitt goes out. I don't think Tyson played.
He did not.
And they lose. I mean, come on. Willie Fritz. Houston Cougars are now 7-1 after their win in Tempe. And this is just after Arizona State beat Texas Tech the week before, so everybody was high on them.
Yep.
And I would say a lot of people are surprised that I guess that Iowa State is favored in this game, but I think if you're an Arizona State fan, you feel the exact same way about your team that Iowa State fans do right now. And Willie Fritz, all of a sudden, boys, Houston's ranked 22nd in the country, and they play Cincinnati this week.
That's a good story for them. But on Leavitt real quick, it was 2 separate injuries. He got knocked out twice yesterday.
He's got to be questionable for this game.
It's questionable.
Right?
The second one, he retweaked was the word used, his foot that kept him out of a game earlier this year. So that I saw it was predictable as the sun coming up in the morning, C-Dub. When you posted Iowa State's favored, it was watch.
It's the most predictable thing ever. After a win, you're not enough respect. After a loss, worst team in history. Vegas is stupid.
Well, I mean, if I would have guessed the point spread, I would have had it right at 3 or 4. That's what it is.
I would have had Iowa State by 2.5 or 3 is where I would have put it.
And that's,
Arizona Especially State, with the noon kick, that helps Iowa State.
That's crazy. I'm surprised they did that, but it helps in this regard.
It's not great for the Festival of Meats.
Not great for the Festival of Meats or the Oktoberfest at the Bloom family tailgate. So,
oh man, we got Oktoberfest and Festival of Meats on the same day.
It's a lot of festivals in one day. Yeah, I don't participate in I watch. I officiate the Oktoberfest games. Well, how long can you hold could you hold a beer stein, C-Dub? I mean, you've been on that game day men's health stuff now for a year and a half. I don't know. You probably.
I feel like I could. There's no way I could beat Brockman.
Yeah, Big Bill's gonna get you. But
there's no way I could beat him. But I feel like I maybe be able to get second.
I do have a case of syrup for you for mentioning on the podcast.
Great.
So there you go.
Fantastic.
I think timing. Isn't
that like Plugola? Could I get sued?
I don't. It was just him being nice. I mean,
okay. I didn't expect anything. There was no quid pro quo.
No, nothing there. No, I just think it's these are two teams that both could really use a confidence boost right now. That was a weird one for Arizona State, especially coming off the Tech game. Like, they got guys. Iowa State is very aware of what happened to it in December in the Big 12 championship game. I just hope this Iowa State team comes out free, loose, and fun. Just go for it a little bit. Stop overthinking, which is easier said than done.
Hey, worst case scenario, we'll get to go back to Memphis, right? And I love Memphis. You guys know how much I enjoy the Liberty Bowl. We go have a party at Lawler's.
Is that still open?
Yeah. Wrote about it in my book. About the night that I got to hang out with Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything about Memphis. I'm in time. in time. We'll see.
We're not going to be in Memphis.
The options aren't great. I don't love the bowl.
Dude, the Big 12 bowl setup sucks.
Yeah, we got to.
If you're not in the Alamo Bowl, it pretty much blows anymore.
It's not great. It's just, there's just not. And again,
the only one Iowa State hasn't been to is Houston.
Yeah,
recently.
in a while.
I mean, 2005.
Well, I guess the Armed Forces Bowl at TCU.
But that's like the lowest of the low.
That's like the lowest of the low. And Iowa State's already going to go there. Go to TCU. Yeah.
Well, then.
But hey, you got to, I mean, that's why you play the games.
Win out and get to the Alamo Bowl.
Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
Let's go to the Alamo Bowl.
I'm all in on the Alamo Bowl. That's
Hey, bright side, kind of. Well, I feel bad for M-Red's bracket generator or tiebreaker generator.
Just getting destroyed right now?
Well, no, because Iowa State fans aren't going to be clicking on it.
Yeah, we're done. We called this one on Wednesday. If you listen to Williams and Blum, Wednesday, you made some money on Kansas State beating Kansas as an underdog, 42-17.
And Utah completely pantsing Colorado.
Colorado sucks, man. That's going to be the worst loss, and
it's going to look really bad, isn't it? I mean,
they suck. They don't have good players. Their coaching's bad. They have awful fans.
He's not coming back next year, is he? At this point.
Let me ask: what did you think about him holding the tryout thing for the players that he's going to cut? Was that a good coach or a coach that's completely given up on the season, and you could say that that's actually works against the players?
I don't know how anything good can come from that. I mean,
I was shocked to see all the people on social media praising him for it, because I thought if I'm a fan that's paying money to go to what are we doing here?
Yeah,
you got to try and win every game, right, Coach?
Yeah, it was that was odd, but that's Dion in a lot of ways. I mean, it's the weird thing, C-Dub. I think there's part of it here. I could put my psychology minor that I didn't really get. I think he misses the attention. I do. I mean, Colorado's very boring right now.
Yeah, nobody cares anymore.
Nobody cares.
That whole thing's done.
It's done.
They don't have good players. They're not fun to watch. They're just not very good.
So how do you get more eyeballs on you? Is you do something pretty radical, and that's what that was to me. I don't know.
You think it was a stunt?
I don't think it was a stunt. I just think the guy's let's fire up somebody somewhere, because this season has been a complete miss for them.
TCU improves to 6-2. They had a tough game in Morgantown, 23-17. Not much to analyze there. And then, give Cincinnati their flowers, man.
Yeah.
The Bearcats are 5-0. They handled Baylor. That surprised me. I thought Baylor might go in and win that.
I did too.
Texas Tech rolled up on Oklahoma State. They covered their 38.5 point line or whatever that was. But I mean, the story here is Houston and Cincinnati, and those two teams play this week, and we'll guess the point spread coming up here.
Well, and this is 2 years in a row now where teams at the bottom, picked in the bottom, are now at the top. So again, preseason polls and all that. Again, Satterfield and Fritz, it's going to be a tough race for Big 12 Coach of the Year. Both those guys, awesome job. And, I think the other interesting part here, too, is C-Dub. Remember last year, or 2 years ago, when all those new schools struggled early coming to the Big 12. BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. Well, now, three of the top four are those schools that the Big 12 added. And it's actually the old guard that's been struggling. Oklahoma State, Iowa State, K-State for a little bit of the season. So it's just interesting how that has flipped. And I give a lot of kudos to not only those coaches, but those entire administrations for going all in. I mean, you should see some of the money that they're dedicating, not just NIL money, but just money in general.
Like student fees.
Yeah, to upgrade all that stuff. And it's paying off, literally. So that's those three programs in particular, BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, that's a credit to them really investing to try and be somebody in the Big 12.
I screwed up. Houston does not play Cincinnati this weekend. I apologize. I misspoke.
No, we'll allow it.
They play
Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will be a great game.
I don't know where I got that in my head. Whatever. I apologize.
Yeah, okay. Hey, man. Hey, we make mistakes.
Damn it. I was really hoping for the Tyson Veit Willie Fritz matchup.
Hey, could be in Arlington.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be something.
God, the frickin' TV ratings for that would just be a bonanza.
Now, honestly, BYU, when does the playoff rankings come out this week?
I don't know.
I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. BYU better be in there in the top 10. They deserve it. They really do. I think BYU deserves it.
4 or 5 pretty good teams in the league,
Yeah.
I think.
But it's not the 4 or 5 that we would have guessed at the start of the year. That's the interesting part with this league, which also means you can't just get complacent either because it can turn pretty quickly.
Try webwise.com. It's where you can go to. The best thing I could do right now is the website for my book, where we do have a pre-order link up there. Fanaticbook.com. Fanaticbook.com. Webwise did that for me. So you can check it out, see what their work is. If you go to the bottom of the page, you can click on Webwise Solutions, and it'll take you right to their website. Really good work by those guys. I appreciate Kevin and Adam very much. All right, let's guess the point spreads. Just for the record, Iowa State opened at -1.5, and they are now a 4-point favorite over Arizona State. So if you were yelling, and maybe Arizona State wins this game, who knows? The heavy money early went on to the Cyclones. The number is 50.5.
Yeah, I mean, you the number one thing we're watching this week, crew, is
Tyson
Levitt.
and Levitt.
Because if it's Jeff Sims and no Tyson, even with Iowa State's banged up secondary, those guys are going to have a tough time.
West Virginia is at Houston.
Respect Willie. 12.5.
Willie Fritz.
12.5.
Damn it. You got it. 14.5. Well done. Right on the line. Directional Florida is on the road at Baylor.
I heard Jim Nantz call that school Central Florida today. I just want them to know that Jim Nantz did that. Just FYI.
I love poking those people. I put out a tweet.
There was to you.
There was a there was a stat about the last 2 years, like worst records against Power 5 conferences, and Directional Florida was on there, and I go, hey, Central Florida's finally ranked, and it got them all worked up again. They're all, you clown.
Poke. Who do they play?
They're at Baylor in Waco.
Ugh.
11 a.m. kick.
Oh, man. Baylor, 8.5.
It's a miss, 4.5.
Oh.
We're going to pound Baylor in that game, aren't we?
I guess so.
Texas Tech at Kansas State. Crazy game here.
Ooh.
Scary-ass game for Joey McGuire. Whoa, man. Kansas State. Hey, take your hat off to those guys. They got off the deck. Yeah, Kleiman's done a hell of a job to get them to where they are right now.
Really remarkable season for them. I mean, that's been a roller coaster and a half. Tech, 7.
Nailed it. It's perfect. Boom. Oklahoma State is at Kansas. Little Big 8 showdown.
Hold on. What was the final yesterday for them?
42-0.
Now they go to Kansas.
Dude, we should have played it. Remember I said take the under in that game? Because I was like, there's no way that Oklahoma State can score against...
How would your picks, how'd your locks do yesterday?
I didn't do very well. I did 1 and 2. Okay. I really was mad at myself because I was going to put one of the Big 12 games in. I put Baylor at Cincinnati in instead of Kansas State.
Wrong one.
Picked the wrong one.
Yep.
I had a good hit on Utah. Nailed that, and then I just whiffed on my other one. I don't even remember what it was, but I just missed it.
It happens. So this game's in
still
Lawrence.
21-12 on the year. I'm doing pretty well.
Kansas is scoring 55 in this game. I'm making the call. So I'm gonna guess this point spread's 27.
I'm sorry to do this to you. It's 24.5. That's a miss by half of a point.
That is brutal.
But I'll tell you what you should play. How many points do you think they're going to score?
I think they're going to score 55.
How many do you think Oklahoma State will score?
I mean, Kansas's defense isn't very good, but...
So this is an over game for you. 57.5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the Bloom special.
Yep. Not allowed to, but that would be my recommendation.
Oh, yeah, you can't do it anymore.
Me and Chauncey Billups are not allowed.
Arizona at Colorado.
Arizona at Colorado. Oh, gosh.
What it's worth, this is a 6 p.m. kick if that impacts you.
No.
Nope, no, it doesn't.
12.
Nope, doesn't impact me at all.
12.
4.5.
No, it's not.
There's a discrepancy in this line right here. This is a problem. I'm with you. I would have put Arizona as over a touchdown.
Holy smokes, team. That's a
They
bad
must
miss.
really hate Arizona.
That or that there's more going on in that altitude than we realized.
Cincinnati at Utah.
Oof. I think this is...
Dude, Utah is good.
Yes.
I don't...
That's what I'm saying. That's why BYU...
BYU is
beating
legit.
them. Is,
yeah, like, because Utah is really good.
They're really good. 7.5.
7. That's a hit. Well done.
That's a night game, right? Like night, late night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around the country. Tulane is at Texas San Antonio on Thursday night.
Remember when the Roadrunners were like a fun story for like half of a season? Whatever happened to them?
They played a lot of those like Friday night games. We'd watch them in the garage.
Is it the same guy? Trailer? I think he's still there.
I have no idea.
You might as well ask me. Yeah, I'll just say Tulane 4.
Wow, that's a win. 3.5. South Florida's got the day off.
Oh, good.
God, I was so depressed when I had the worst football weekend of my life. Vikings Thursday. Clarinda Cardinals loses the number 1 seed on Friday. South Carolina blows the lead to Alabama. Golish blows the lead to Memphis. Clones lose to BYU. And Iowa won by 40 or whatever. There's not a single team I like that won.
Texas snatched victory from an embarrassing situation. He might, by the way, did you see that report this morning?
Which one?
Two things.
Well, I saw that there was a report that Sark was flirting, and then his agent put out that it was unequivocally false. Which I don't trust agents.
I could see him entertaining the NFL. I really could. And it sounds like Brian Kelly's out.
Well, the governor tweeted that they need to fire him.
Yeah. You don't want the...
Jeez. I've never seen that.
Stay out of it, governor. Stay out of it.
Just tough. The Gamecocks. My Gamecocks are at Ole Miss. Coming off that win.
Ole Miss is probably a 14.
13.5. Well done.
SEC Bloom.
This is an interesting game. We don't pick Nebraska, so this doesn't go against your win-loss. They're not one of our regulars. USC at Nebraska.
Did Nebraska play last weekend after they got embarrassed by Minnesota? Did they play?
Yeah, they beat Northwestern by 7.
I'm going to say this is Nebraska 2.5.
Way off. USC by 6.
In Lincoln?
Yeah. That's why I thought it was interesting. That doesn't... Bloom Watcher, that doesn't count against him.
Well, no, that is interesting.
Isn't that an interesting line?
Yeah.
Did you see that Penn State is still ranked 21st in the FPI? Swear to God. Swear to God. I just want to throw this. Penn State at Ohio State. This was once one of the top billed games of the entire country.
20.
20.5. Well done.
Yeah.
These don't count, Bloom Watcher.
No, I know, but unless I get them right.
Vanderbilt at Texas.
Oh, that's fun. Ugh. Texas 4.
2.5.
Okay.
We're just running up the score on these games.
I know.
Well done.
Where's that? What time's that one? I might have that on the box.
It's 11 a.m.
Nope, will not.
Damn noon kicks. Well, I think that's all.
Okay.
That's all we got for you.
All right.
Good job. That was fun.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, looking forward to the Inside Zone with Jairo Brock, Colin Newell, Jake Remsburg, Jacqueline Cordova. Love listening to that every week. Wiffles Hybrids presents that program. The Beat Reporters coming up on Thursday. If you're not... Go ahead. This is cool. This is my favorite thing about Saturdays. I had a group from South Carolina and Florida, 2 different groups that met at the Iowa State game for homecoming, said they listen to the show weekly and that we keep them plugged in with what's going on in Ames. It makes it feel like home. And I was like, that is the best thing I heard today, so thank you. That's what we're here for, baby.
I appreciate it. Good to meet you all. That was very kind of you.
Thanks to our friends at Mechdyne for supporting. Also our friends at Northwest Bank. Everyone who makes this world go around here at Cyclone Fanatic. We love and appreciate all of you. And next week, I have a feeling the varsity football program is going to get off the deck with a big win over Arizona State. He is Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams. We'll be back on Wednesday here on Cyclone Fanatic.